Hi guys, we're going to talk about compound interest. So this is going to close out our section on exponentials. So we're going to talk about the compound interest formula. So you can see that we have this formula right here, and each of these variables we have described. So your A value is your account balance, P is the principal amount that you're investing, R is your interest rate. Don't forget that this is converted to a decimal value. T is the time in years. Again, that's extremely important. So you know it's in years in case you're given to it, if it's given to you as months, in months. And then N is how it's being compounded per year. So if it's monthly, then that's obviously going to be compounded 12 times per year. If it's quarterly, then that's going to be 4 times per year, and so on. Usually that's pretty much, I mean, you could do daily, which is 365, or you could just do once a year, which would just make it 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these problems. So I'll take a look at number 1. So we see we have a total of $12,000 is invested in an account with an annual interest rate of 9%, and it's compounded monthly. So we want to find the account balance after 5 years. So we start off with our formula here. So A is equal to P, 1 plus R over N raised to the N times T. So we have our P value, which is 12,000. That's what's being invested. So A is equal to 12,000 times 1 plus. Now our interest rate is 9%, which means we have to write it as a decimal. That's going to be 0.09, or just 0.09 is fine. Remember, you move the decimal 2 places to the left, divided by, and N is how it's being compounded, so it's compounded monthly, so that makes it 12, raised to the N times, and T, we have 5 years. So 5 times 12. So now what you want to do is you want to key this all in and get your value. I mean, you can break it up and say, so A is equal to 12,000 times 1 plus 0.09 over 12 to this, make that 60. I would just key this all in your calculator one time, and what you will get is a total of $18,788.17. And what you want to do is look at your answer to make sure that it makes sense. Number-wise, it makes sense. So if I invested $12,000 and I invested it for 5 years at 9%, how much do I have? I have $18,780.70. That sounds about right. If you made a mistake somewhere, let's say you did 0.9 as opposed to 0.09, well, now you're saying 90%. Well, this number here, your answer is going to be really large. Say you come up with something that is like $92,567. Well, that means that you took $12,000, you invested it for 5 years, and then you almost made 8 times your money in 5 years at a 9% interest rate. That just does not make any number of sense. So don't just key in the calculator and look at and write the answer. Look at it. Make sure that it makes sense. All right, let's look at this problem here. It's a little bit different. So now we want to know, how much money would you need to invest to have an account balance of $40,000 if you earn 7% interest compounded quarterly for 10 years? So this is different because here's our formula. 1 plus R over N to NT. We want to know this. We want to know how much would you need to invest so that you get 40,000, an account balance of 40,000, and the interest rate is 7%, so 0.07, compounded quarterly, so that is 4, and then that would be 4 times for 10 years. So what you need to do is key this part in, get that value, and keep all the decimal values that you can, whatever your calculator gives you, basically. So when you do that, you're gonna get 40,000, and on my calculator, I got 2.001597343. That's how many decimal places that I got for this value right here. So this became this right there. So now what do we need to do to solve it? We have to divide, to solve for P, we have to divide both sides by this value. It's a lot of numbers, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and just round this to the nearest dollar. I didn't put that in the question, but I'm going to round it to the nearest dollar. So when you do that, you get P is equal to $19,984. And again, does that make sense? So if I take $19,984, invest it for 10 years at 7% interest, will that give me, or does it look like it makes sense for it to equal 40,000? And it does. It makes sense. So if you were to get a number larger than 40,000 because you made a mistake, well, that doesn't make any sense. So you can invest more than 40,000 so that after 10 years, you have less than what you invested. We hope that's not going to be the case. So again, our number answers look like they make sense, which is definitely something that you want to check. A lot of students just do not check their answers. They just put down whatever they get from what the calculator tells them, and that's it. All right, well, hopefully this is enough to go over the compound interest formula, and this pretty much closes up our section on exponential functions. And I will see you in the next video.